Hello and welcome to this Thought Leadership Seminar brought to you in celebration of National Environment Month. My name is Paulo Enriquez and I'm thrilled to be your host for today's session. At Generali-Philippines, we're committed to promoting sustainability and environmental awareness, not only through our products and services, but also by partnering with like-minded organizations. One of these valued partners is the Forest Foundation Philippines. Together, we strive to create meaningful and impactful initiatives that help protect and restore our natural environment. Today, we'll hear from remarkable individuals who are deeply passionate about our shared responsibility to protect the planet. Our speakers will dive into essential topics from the role of watersheds and mangroves to the importance of urban forests. And finally, empowering the youth as future advocates for our forests. Let's begin by welcoming Ms. Karissa Mae Bautista, Partnerships Officer of Forest Foundation Philippines. Karissa will share insights about their work and our partnership. Take it away, Karissa.
All right, so thank you so much, Paulo, for the introduction. And good day, everyone, and hope that you are enjoying your weekend. So before we proceed with our speakers for this webinar, allow me to briefly introduce the Forest Foundation Philippines and also the partnership that we have with Generali. So the foundation is a nonprofit organization, and we were established in 2002 under bilateral agreements between the government of the Philippines and the United States of America through what we call the Tropical Forest Conservation Agreement. So this is a debt reduction agreement that enables the foundation to receive funds which we redirect as grants to different NGOs and people's organizations to support forest protection and conservation work in the Philippines. So our projects are located in the landscapes of Sierra Madre, Palawan, Samar and Leyte, and selected provinces in Mindanao. So the foundation has been doing grant-making work since 2005, and specifically for the first half of the second Tropical Forest Conservation Agreement, we have supported 326 projects, which resulted to improving around 1 million forest lands, 1,243 restored forest lands, 108 community-based livelihoods, and 211 community-based organizations capacitated and empowered. So if you want to know more about the foundation, you can also visit our website. Meanwhile, I'll be sharing with you the partnerships that we have with Generali. So this year, we partnered with Generali as they strengthen their commitment to the environment. So they committed to plant one mangrove seedling for every retail insurance sold. Through this partnership, their customers will also be having the opportunity to contribute to mangrove conservation on top of the peace of mind and protection that they will get with their insurance. So in particular, Generali and its customers will be supporting a mangrove site in Sitio Diap, Barangay Boboan, Siruma, Camarines Sur. Through our partners, Samahan ng Maliliit na Mangingisda ng Matandang Siruma, and also their partner, NGO ISO. So the support will cover not just planting, but also the maintenance of the seedlings to be planted. So I hope you'll be inspired as you hear my colleagues discuss the importance of our forest and how each and every one of us can also contribute in our own little ways.
Thank you, Karissa, for that inspiring introduction to the work of Forest Foundation Philippines and its meaningful collaboration with Generali. Our next speaker is Mr. Eric Buduan, Senior Program Officer at Forest Foundation Philippines. Eric will take us on a deep dive into the critical role of watersheds and mangroves in combating climate change and supporting biodiversity. Over to you, Eric.
Good afternoon, everyone. The topic assigned to me is on watersheds sustaining communities. So next slide. What is a watershed? Watershed is an area of land draining water to a common outlet or water body. Water body may be a bay, a sea, a lake, or an ocean. And the size of the watershed varies, with the smaller ones being referred as a sub-watershed or micro-watershed, while multiple watersheds drained by a river comprises a river basin. It's a larger watershed. So the image presented here shows that a watershed covers portion the ridge of the mountain where the river system begins, the river passing through various ecosystems, including the rural and urban settlements, going down to the coast or the marine area. So that comprises a watershed. So for example, here in near Metro Manila, we have the Angat and Ipo watersheds. And these two watersheds are part of a larger watershed, the Pampanga River Basin. And that basin is drained by the Pampanga River, which drains eventually into the Manila Bay. So that's our watershed. So next slide. What's the role of forest in a watershed? Forests play a vital role in maintaining healthy watersheds. The photos reflected here, especially those on the left photos, portrays the crucial role of a forest in a watershed. So you can see on the upper left, that is a mountain in Nueva Vizcaya. This was once a forest, but now dominated by grasses, a grassland. So expect the area to be open, hot climate, hot weather, dry, and water sources are drying up, especially during summer months, and very prone to grass fires. And the wildlife that used to roam in the area when this was still forested are now where to be found. So in contrast, in the lower photo, this is a forested mountain in Nakar, Quezon. In this area, the climate is cool, flora and fauna, the biodiversity or wildlife are thriving, and water supply is sustained. Also note the presence of clouds that will become as rain, and these are attributed to the evapotranspiration process of the vegetation of the forest. And as depicted in the right image, the role of forest in water cycle, forest influences the water cycle through evapotranspiration, infiltration process or the percolation process. Forests also regulate water flow, prevents flood during excessive rains, and also mitigate the occurrence of droughts. Forests help store water through the infiltration processes, while the roots of the trees or the vegetation help in groundwater recharge, holding the soil, preventing soil erosion that will eventually create sedimentation, rivers, and our lakes and our seas. Those forests sustains watersheds that sustains communities through its water provisioning and regulation services. So that's the role of water in our watershed. Next slide. Why conserve our watersheds? First, environmental benefits. Watershed ensures maintenance of water quality and quantity. It assures the presence of sustained water, especially during summertime, with a good quality. Also, watershed provides habitat of diverse flora and fauna. As you can see in the picture, a picture of a Philippine eagle. Watershed also helps in soil conservation, reduces soil erosion, also prevents siltation and sedimentation. And as I mentioned a while ago, it regulates water cycle. It also helps in replenishment of groundwater through the recharge processes. So those are environmental benefits. Socioeconomic benefits. Watershed provides or ensures water security. It ensures reliable water supply for domestic, industrial, and agricultural uses, as well as energy production or the hydropower operations, depending on the health of the watershed that provides the sustained water. It also provides food security, because our food production, crop production are very much dependent on the availability of water, water for irrigation, water for agricultural use. And the watershed provides economic growth. Watersheds are areas of tourism, recreation, for forestry use, as well as fishery use. So as you can see in the picture, the Angat Dam that provides fisheries as well as water for Metro Manila, and the generation of electric power generation. Watershed also provides human health and well-being through the provision of potable water, mitigates flood risk and the impact of flooding, Also provides areas for tourism and recreation for camping, hiking, off-road driving, and these activities enhances physical as well as mental health. And lastly, for climate change resiliency, forested watersheds are carbon sequestration areas through its forest and aquatic ecosystems. It regulates climate through regulation of the water cycle. As you can see in the previous, as experienced in the previous occurrences of typhoon in northern zone, as seen in this picture, Salamat, Sierra Madre, most communities were spared from excessive damages because of presence of Sierra Madre. Sierra Madre is one of our large watershed that protects northern Luzon from the impact of typhoons. So conserving watersheds supports environmental conservation, socioeconomic and cultural development, human well-being for a sustainable future. So next slide. However, our watersheds are being challenged by various issues. First is the timber harvesting, the logging operation before, wherein the Philippines was one of the major exporter of timber or logs to various countries. Although this has been stopped already, there are still cases of timber poaching seen in the picture. Timber poaching for addressing domestic wood requirements. After logging, here comes conversion of forest to agriculture. On the picture on the lower left, you can see a once forested portion in Quirino. It's now devoted for crop production for yellow corn farming. And another issue is the settlement or migration, as seen on the lower picture. There was once a forested part in Quirino. It's now converted to settlements. Provides area for migrants, and consequently the migrants clear the area for economic activities. So despite the importance of watershed, these are continuously threatened, and we need to do some conservation actions to really conserve or preserve our watersheds. So next slide. So how can we contribute to conserving our watershed? So watershed conservation is everybody's concern. It must be participatory, holistic, transdisciplinary, effort by the government as well as civil society, with the communities at the forefront of any watershed conservation actions. So we encourage everybody to consider these actions, but not limited to these actions. First, you need to know and learn about your watershed, support forest and wildlife conservation protection efforts, buy forest products from legal and sustainable sources, because protecting the forest is the foundation of watershed conservation. Participate and support to tree growing activities, not just tree planting, but tree growing and nurturing activities. And the Forest Foundation strongly promotes science-based forest restoration, species site matching, and the use of native tree species. Also promote or practice soil and water conservation practices, especially for farming communities through agroforestry, sustainable agriculture, and other integrated farming practices. We also need to practice and promote rainwater harvesting and water recycling. We know the fact that water is abundant, but potable water is very limited. Only 3% of the total water on Earth is fresh water, and only about 1.2% is potable. So we need to optimize this potable water, not just for the present generation, but future generations. And lastly, we need to dispose garbage properly. Garbage eventually end up in the river and eventually end up in the coast, affecting our coastal communities. So in summary, if there's no forest, there's no healthy watershed. If there's no healthy watershed, There is no good water, reliable water. If there's no water, there's no food. There's no food production, and there's no food, there's no life. Hence, watershed is life. So having learned the need to conserve our forest, our watersheds, we now go to where our watersheds meet the sea or the coast. This is what we call the ridge to reef approach. Along the coast, this is where our mangroves are. So mangroves are forest along tidal flats, tidal mud flats, along estuaries, along rivers, streams, and their tributaries, where the fresh water meets the salt water, or generally called brackish water, a mixture of salt water and fresh water. So mangroves provides buffer between the land and the sea, and the vegetation here, the trees here, have specialized roots. They can be able to withstand the salty water and breathe even if during high tide they can still exist or persist. And there are at least 35 species of mangroves documented in the Philippines. And mangroves can either be trees, a shrub, or a palm. So it's not just mangrove trees, but it can be other type of plants. So mangroves serve as nursery grounds for fishes, crabs, prawn, shell, and many other marine lives. It provides leaves and litter that are valuable sources of food for wildlife or animals, crustaceans, fish, and other coastal and marine species. And also the mangrove protects coastal areas and communities from storm surges, tidal waves, and typhoons. This was very apparent during the Typhoon Yolanda in eastern summer, wherein mangrove forests shielded communities from excessive damages from the super typhoon Yolanda. So aside from benefiting on the biodiversity from the ecosystem services, mangrove also provides physical protection to communities along the coast. So let us conserve these mangroves for safeguarding lives, safeguarding coastal communities. So next slide. Again, additional importance of mangrove, they produces organic biomass for the sustainability of coastal and marine resources, as well as reduces pollution in seashore areas. Pollution are being trapped by the root system of these mangroves. And also mangroves provide food and livelihood opportunities. They contribute to productivity of fishery resources in the coastal area. So next slide. Status of mangrove in the Philippines. It was documented that in early 1900s, mangrove forests cover about 450,000 hectares. It was reduced to 138,000 hectares in 1993 due to unsustainable uses that I will discuss in the next slide. Fortunately, in 2005 and in 2015, we are now experiencing an increasing forest cover. So in 2005, increases to about 289,000 hectares. And about 300,000 hectares in 2015. That's based on the information of the National NAMRIA, also the DNR. So what's the cause of mangrove decline? First is attributed to anthropogenic causes. This is the conversion of the mangrove forest to other uses like fish pond, salt beds, and other aquaculture activities. The continued cutting of mangrove for fuel wood, firewood, including the tan bark. So you can see in the picture on the lower left, this is a once a mangrove forest in Zamboanga, Sibugay, but now converted into fish ponds for fish and shrimp production. The adjacent photo is a mangrove area as an effect of tan bark, harvesting of barks for tanning. Another causes is the continued conversion of for fish ponds in the adjacent picture. So these are all attributed to anthropogenic or man-made causes. But naturally, mangroves are also affected by calamities such as typhoon. So you can see on the lower right, this is a mangrove area in General MacArthur in Eastern Samar, was damaged by the impact of the super typhoon Yolanda in 2000, I think 2012. So not just man-made, but natural calamities will also damage our mangrove. And aside from that, there are also cases of pests and diseases, climate change, both destroying the mangrove as well as communities that are dependent also on mangroves. So those are the causes of decline of our mangroves. And to cite a specific project supported by the foundation, we have supported a mangrove conservation effort in Siruma, Camarines Sur. Siruma is located in the coast of San Miguel Bay in Camarines Sur in Bicol region. It's a major fishing ground in that area. The municipality is about 14,000 hectares with 22 barangays. And of that 22, 15 are coastal barangays, covering about 647 hectares of mangrove. And out of that 647, about 197 hectares is declared as a local conservation area because they see the need to really conserve and protect their mangrove for the benefit of the communities. So majority of the residents are fisher folks that derive ecosystem services from this mangrove forest. So aside from the nursery grounds for fish and other marine products, the mangrove of Siroma also serve as a natural filtration system and protection against climate change, such as coastal erosion and storm surges. Similar to those experienced in Eastern Samar during the Typhoon Yolanda, the town of Siroma is also experiencing storm surges during typhoons that affects Bicol region. So mangrove are very crucial that provides shield, protect communities, coastal communities, and this is attributed to the good mangrove cover in that area. So in 2014 until 2024, this year, we are actively engaging local communities on mangrove rehabilitation in partnership with the Institute of Social Order. So next slide. So the project was able to plant about 55,000 mangrove seedlings, propagules, with about 90% survival rate. As much as we want to have a 100% survival rate, but mortality cannot be avoided. So the 90% rate is good performance. We covered about 103 hectares of mangrove for protection maintenance activities. We supported the construction about 15 meters boardwalk. We supported the establishment of a Siruma Mangrove Learning Center. And the project helped supported the development of a mangrove management plan for 2024 to 2018. So we encourage the audience, participants in this webinar, if they have a opportunity to visit the Siruma and explore the Siruma Mangrove Learning Center to see the actual mangrove conservation effort in that area. So next slide. So this is a aerial photo of a mangrove area in Siruma. This was once a fish pond cleared of mangrove forests, but due to support of the project, engaging the communities, engaging the local government units and other stakeholders through production of mangrove seedlings, raising them at the nursery, planting them, the proper age, proper timing, with the perseverance of the community partners, maintenance and protection activities. This abandoned fish pond was 100% successfully reverted into natural mangroves in partnership with the Fisher Folk Organization. So this took about a number of years. It's more than 3 years to achieve this kind of result. So if we want to support mangrove conservation effort, we really want to see from planting up to the time that the mangrove cover is really achieved. So next slide. And the photo of the mangrove boardwalk. We encourage those in Bicol region and nearby areas visit our mangrove learning center in Suruma to learn more about the mangrove, learn about the effort of the stakeholders, the Fisher Folk organizations, the local government units, and other stakeholders, the NGO partners on mangrove conservation work. So that's it about the topic on mangrove conservation work, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric, for shedding light on the importance of these vital ecosystems. Moving forward, let's welcome Ms. Diane Bagui, Program Officer at Forest Foundation Philippines. Diane will talk about urban forests and their significance in enhancing urban ecosystems and addressing climate resilience. Diane, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paulo. Good day, everyone. I'm Forester Diane Bagui of Forest Foundation Philippines. Today, I will be sharing the importance of urban forests and some materials we may use to appreciate their beauty. But first, let's define urban forests. Yes, there are indeed forests in the city. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations define urban forests as networks or systems comprising all woodlands, groups of trees, and individual trees located in urban and peri-urban areas, which may include forests, street trees, trees in parks and gardens, and trees in derelict corners. Where are these forests located? Let's take a virtual tour using Google Earth. Under the definitions of FAO, they further classified urban forests to 5 major types. Peri-urban forests and woodlands is a forest type surrounding towns and cities that can provide goods and services such as wood, fiber, fruit, other non-wood forest products, clean water, recreation, and tourism. Can you guess which part of NCR this is? It's the La Mesa Watershed Reserve in Quezon City. The second photo, I believe this one is a giveaway, a haven for plantito or plantita, a go-to for Zumba and jogging, occasional concerts, and a lot more. This is the Quezon City Memorial Circle. City parks in urban forests are greater than half hectare, are large urban or district parks with a variety of land cover and at least partly equipped with facilities for leisure and recreation. Another urban forest type is trees on streets or in public squares. Linear tree populations, small groups of trees and individual trees in squares and parking lots and on streets. Did you know that this avenue is lined up with a species that can be found in our 25 centavos? The rightmost photo is the White Plains Avenue near Camp Aguinaldo. Okay. Have you been to this side of the metro? Paco Park is a recreational garden and was once Manila's municipal cemetery built by the Dominicans during the Spanish colonial period. This park has been a popular venue for weddings and receptions. Pocket parks and gardens with trees is an urban forest type that has less than half a hectare in total land area. These are often equipped with facilities for recreation or leisure and private gardens and green spaces. And last but not the least, which is rather unpopular, are other green spaces with trees. An example would be the libingan ng mga bayani. These include urban agricultural plots, sports grounds, vacant lands, lawns, riverbanks, open fields, cemetery, and botanical gardens. By now, we can say that there are still remaining urban forests within NCR. As a person living or working in the city, what can urban forests bring us? Urban forests provide clean water. Take the case of the La Mesa watershed. Urban forests and access to urban forests can improve one's physical and mental health. In a study conducted in 2015, it was observed that green spaces are associated with better self-perceived general and mental health across different degrees of urbanization, socioeconomic statuses, and genders. Diverse tree species with varying height and shape can buffer noise and can intercept air pollutants coming from mobile sources. Urban forest cools the environment. If you go inside an urban forest or green park, you would notice that it is a lot cooler inside than outside the park. Urban forests and trees in cities provide multiple benefits, not just to the people, but also to biodiversity. If you have been to the school grounds of Ateneo, Miriam College, and UP Diliman, or the Katipunan Corridor, you may see native tree species, and if you are lucky and have a keen eye, you may see various fauna from snakes, bats, birds, and others. Next slide, please. And Professor Cecil Conenidike of the University of British Columbia proposed the 330-300 rule with regards to urban forestry and urban green. The rule is that every citizen should be able to see at least 3 trees of a decent size from their home. Each neighborhood should have at least 30% tree cover, and that residents should be at least 300 meters away from the nearest park or green spaces. The percentage of tree cover can provide a cooling effect on nearby buildings and residential areas. Access to green spaces or urban forests can encourage us to be more active physically. The importance of forests to our health and well-being cannot be overemphasized. As we have transitioned from the pandemic, as mobility increases, we enjoin all of you to explore our urban forests and reap the benefits it offers to us. Here are some of our publications and ways that you may find useful as you explore our urban forest. In partnership with the Alliance for Safe, Sustainable, and Resilient Environment, the Public Parks, Open and Green Spaces, or PPOGs, is a guidebook for environment planners and landscape developers. It includes some of the open and green spaces or urban forests in the different cities across the country. Together with a campus-based initiative, the Ateneo Wild, a citizen science manual of how to be wild was released. The Ateneo Wild is a citizen science project that aims to document the urban biodiversity in the Ateneo Loyola Heights campus. Similar efforts are being done in UP Diliman, and hopefully, through the manual, we can inspire campus-led actions and citizen scientists who can document our urban biodiversity. We've had several nature-inspired advocacy materials, one of which has received admiration and great feedback. It is the Forest Reflections Journal. This was made possible through our partnership with a talented watercolor artist and graphic designer Ms. Cynthia Bauzon-Ari. The journal provided a step-by-step guide in making tree illustrations, basics in identifying birds and trees. This journal can help us to be more attentive to the things that we may have been missing out on. When was the last time you heard a cicada or found a different bird other than Maya? And know that Nara has started blooming. So when was it? Occasionally, the foundation, together with members Palu's Network, the Rainforest Restoration Initiative Network, organizes tree walks or our Best Friends of the Forest trails or BFF trails. Prior to the pandemic, we were able to support tree walks and BFF trails in UP Diliman campus and in the Mesa Eco Park. A tree walk is a good way to communicate, discover, learn the wonder and value of the native flora, holistic, leisurely, and sensory. Earlier, we have heard from Sir Eric the importance of watersheds in our mangroves. While urban forests are least known and have mainly given way to road expansion, its importance in our daily lives is worthy of recognition. Urban forests and its maintenance needs collective effort. We should harness the different expertise of community members in developing, maintaining, and growing our urban forests. Promoting the use of native flora in urban greening and maintaining or increasing our urban forests should also be considered by our local government units as we increase our resilience from the impacts of a changing climate. Seminars, workshops, regrowing initiatives, and citizen science ventures may be done to engage the public in the protection, conservation, and management of urban forests. No act is too small. Together, let's conserve and protect our remaining urban forests. That's all, and thank you.
Thank you, Diane, for that enlightening discussion about urban forests. Well, last but certainly not the least, we have Ms. Nelissa Rocas, Program Manager for the SALG program at Forest Foundation Philippines. Nelissa will speak about empowering the youth to become advocates of our forests. A truly inspiring topic. Take it away, Nelissa.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Polo, and magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. In 2018, the Forest Foundation has partnered with Tropenbos International, a Dutch non-governmental organization, on co-implementing the Sustainable and Inclusive Landscape Governance Program. It aims to collaboratively promote inclusive and sustainable landscape governance of forested landscapes in the country. A key focus of the SILG program is youth inclusion, and over the past 2 years, we've worked with Palawan-based NGOs, the Non-Timber Forest Products Exchange Program Philippines, the Environmental Legal Assistance Center, and the Institute for the Development of Educational and Ecological Alternatives to empower indigenous youth to lead in advocating for their communities and protecting our shared landscapes. At the Forest Foundation, we believe in creating safe spaces where young people can grow, lead, and contribute to forest conservation. Last year, we launched the Biochamps Youth Camp, bringing together 16 indigenous Tagbanwa and Palawan youth, and followed it up with this year's Biochamps 2.0, engaging 70 participants. These camps are designed to educate and inspire. We mix lectures on biodiversity, climate change, and indigenous rights with fun, hands-on activities like field trips to Puerto Princesa Underground River, team building games, sustainable fashion shows, and art projects like dream captures and shirt printing. Building on our annual Biochamps Youth Camp, we've added targeted capacity development activities for selected youth participants. These sessions cover both hard skills like project development and financial management, and soft skills like facilitation and dialogue. Our most recent training focused on project development, and the proposals from the youth have been truly inspiring. These include mangrove restoration, tree planting, traditional handicraft making, intergenerational traditional knowledge sharing, youth-led conservation education, coastal cleanup, and waste management initiatives. So marami na tayong kabataang mulat sa pangangalaga ng kalikasan, kailangan lang natin silang suportahan. And by providing resources and support, we empower indigenous youth to expand their advocacy from local communities to regional and global platforms for sustainability and conservation. Recently, three indigenous youth participated in the Youth Engagement and Empowerment Hive in Asia, focusing on forest and climate leadership. One was even invited to share her advocacy at Tropenbos's Youth It or Lose It event during the UN Biodiversity Conference of Parties. We're committed to amplifying voices and ensuring their efforts drive lasting positive change. So these are just some of the ways the Forest Foundation empowers youth to become advocates for our forests. We also have the Best Friends of the Forest movement, as previously mentioned by Ms. Diane, and along with other youth camps and capacity building activities led by our grantees. Through these efforts, we're planting seeds of hope for a generation ready to make meaningful action for our forests. As a whole, the Forest Foundation works to bring together public, private, and civil society stakeholders to implement a holistic, collaborative, and transdisciplinary approach to forest conservation. So join us in setting solid roots and foundations for a better tomorrow. You can apply for a grant and partner with us today. You can submit your proposals at grants.forestfoundation.ph. We can also assist you in developing your project. Just send us an email at proposals@forestfoundation.ph. We also have other non-grant partnerships such as product collaboration and media partnerships. Just send us an email at partnerships@forestfoundation.ph. So here are our full contact details if you'd like to reach out to us. Pwede nyo rin kaming i-follow sa Facebook, sa Instagram, and sa YouTube. And maraming salamat po at isang makakalikasang araw sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Nelissa, for inspiring us to believe in the power of the next generation. And thank you to all our speakers today, Karissa, Eric, and Diane, for sharing invaluable insights and expertise. As we reflect on today's discussion, let's remember that protecting our environment is a collective effort, whether it's preserving watersheds, creating urban green spaces, or empowering the youth. Every action we can take lead to lasting positive change. At Generali Philippines, we are proud to partner with Forest Foundation Philippines to take tangible steps towards sustainability. Through this partnership, every purchase of our assist products help make a difference. A portion of the proceeds goes directly to planting mangrove trees, supporting environmental conservation efforts, and empowering communities. By choosing assist products, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also contributing to the protection and restoration of our planet. And don't forget to stay connected with us. Of course, follow Generali Philippines on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on YouTube for more updates, insights, and stories that inspire action for a better tomorrow. Thank you all for joining in celebrating National Environment Month. Stay safe, stay inspired, and continue to advocate for our forests in our future. Goodbye.